Shalom, hola, greetings, beloved ones. Let's see, I am a little high on my own supply. I just did some breath work. Anyways, focus. What I wanted to share was how I became Hollyflow. And it was kind of like it wasn't my name in the beginning. It was a word that landed into my head, and it represented the process that I've been in for some years now on the awakening journey. This coming from this really separated, controlling way of being, even manipulative, to learning the language of flow and really learning how to flow. And this was something that I knew from when I was little. I was in the cradle just looking up at the world with some really intense eyes, just doing this kind of movements with my hands. And my mom, she was working at the opera, and all these ballet dancers would look down upon me and say, oh, she's a dancer. And in reality I am. I'm a heart dancer. I dance from my heart. And I guess that is my process here on planet Earth in this time, is learning how to dance again from my heart, both as a metaphor and literally. I had a long journey when it comes to also the physical practice, the yoga practice, as a yoga teacher, where I started my practice really from this control way of practicing. I started with Ashtanga and then Bikram, and it was really about like controlling my mind, gaining control over this crazy wild horse, and then again controlling my body, which was great at the time because I needed to really be empowered again by really learning how to take charge, take control, instead of letting the mind run the show. But the funny thing is that then when you get really good at controlling your body from the mind, you still are controlling from the mind. So you're still kind of living under the claw of the mind, it being in charge, and then how you need to do all these things. You need to eat in this way, or you need to practice in this way, or you need to do your spiritual practice in this way, or this is how it is to be a right human, and controlling yourself into being that way. Then I realized if I was going to gain access over my body and my feeling body, I had to learn to feel my body. And I didn't know how to feel my body when my mind was controlling my body. When my mind was really good at practicing, for instance, yoga in a way of just controlling my body to do what I wanted it to do. And then I needed to let go of that control and start to listen to the body, which opened up a whole other world for me, which opened up the world to my inner being. It's like when you start listening to the body, you're not just listening to the physical body, you're listening to yourself as a being. It's where you access your intuition, it's where you access the inner GPS system for who you are. It's like your inner being, your body tells you all these different things through your senses, through your intelligence. It's not a mental intelligence, it's a somatic intelligence. It's an intelligence that comes from your whole being, that goes beyond your mind. It's this intelligence that it is innate. It knows so much more than you consciously know. And it tells you what's right for you in every single moment. And you can experience this, like when you feel something resonating with you, or when you feel something that's not resonating with you. It is the perfect display of this intelligence. You consciously don't know always exactly why this resonates or not, but it's something that just it just sings. It just like hit your heart. You're just like, yes. And that intelligence is put together of so many different things. From your heart as a sensory organ, it knows so much. It takes in all the different vibrations around you. It takes in so much more information that we consciously maybe don't recognize or are aware of. And your whole entire fascia system, your whole entire all the strings of your connective tissue that has these crystalline forms and tissue. It has these tiny little droplets of water on it, and it's like strings on a violin. It rings with vibration, and it takes in so many vibrations and so many pieces of information that we consciously are not aware of. Anyway, that was a long journey into the intelligence of the body, but I started to access this as I started to stop controlling my body and starting to listening to my body. And then I started to do what my body needed to do instead of my mind telling my body what it needed to do. So I started to listen, and I started to hear what I needed to do in a practice, or in a posture, or in life, or in making choices, or in my path. And it became this beautiful dance. It demands a lot of courage, and it still does, because the deeper and deeper you go on that journey, the closer and closer to yourself you come. And then a lot of courage is demanded, because bigger choices have to be made in regards of who you are and what is true for you. And it can be some big steps sometimes, some leaps actually, where you just have to lean in and trust that you will find something to hold on to on the other side. But how did I become Hollyflow? So in this process of starting to listening to my body, I started actually lying down and meditating. I started really understanding savasana in the yoga practice, because I, like as many yogis these days, do a vigorous practice and then do a little bit of savasana, but maybe not as a deep meditation, but more as a kind of like a little relaxation. But after having spent years in Savasana, let me tell you, it reveals so many of the secrets. It's incredible. And it's something about all the positions that you take. They all have a different relationship to gravity, to the electromagnetism of this planet, and how you are positioned with your energetic being in your chakras. So lying down has this very, very special effect of really rearranging your whole entire body with the ground. It's like every single bone and joint is like given this opportunity to really rearrange as it sinks closer to the earth, as the gravity, as the electromagnetism of the planet is kind of like pulling you closer to her. You can start to really release in that process and let go. And the more you let go, you're not in the way of allowing this grand rearranging ability of this cosmos to occur. It's like energy always wants to reorganize into equilibrium, into balance again. And often it's we who are in the way for that to happen. And we hold on. And the body is the best example of this because it's physical, it's there, it's something you can sense. You can get to know all the principles of the cosmos as you study the body and how it works, how energy flows. How energy flows in your body is all the code for how energy flows anywhere. Every single building block of your body is representing all the different building blocks of this entire cosmos. So you can learn a lot from spending some time with this thing. And yeah, so Hollyflow. Then what can happen if you go really deep into this relaxation and into this reorganizing kind of release with your whole entire body as you let go and you sink closer to the earth. Every single bone, every single tension is kind of letting go, and everything is set back into balance more and more. My whole spine is like realigned, and it's a journey in letting go and realizing where you're not letting go, because that becomes very visible. And when the rest of your body starts to let go with gravity, then the place that is not letting go becomes much louder and it becomes much more visible, and there's like a lot of tension there. Tension is, in the deepest sense, it's just energy there. It's just some kind of energetic hold, something being held still, stagnant in one place, and it's not being allowed to flow. So you can really become your own energetic master or acupuncturist or osteopath or chiropractor by just meditating with your body. Like you can rearrange all the meridians, the energy channels, just meditating with your body. Because you will find all the places that you hold tension. And tension is where you have the block. With your focus, you can direct your focus straight into the epicenter of your block, and your focus can become the needle that an acupuncturist puts into the right spot. And it's not really something that you have to do. It's something that this intelligence of the body will lead you to. You can just listen, and you can start to feel and sense, and you can naturally, you will be drawn to the places in your body that holds, because it becomes so visible in a letting go, surrendering state. So in this surrendering state, it's really surrendering to the now moment and realizing that there's support for you here in the now, support from the planet, something you can lean on and really give your whole weight to. And in that surrendering process, it's not just the planet you're leaning on. The planet is a symbol. It's also there actually physically, but it's a symbol that represents the support that is there from this entire universe. Something you can lean on in the now, lean on in your existence here in the now, in the physical, as a soul. So as you surrender, as I said, it becomes very visible the place where you're holding, because that place is not surrendering like the other places. And it's very beautiful how, again, in the physical we can see the dynamics of how trauma or tension works, how blocked emotions, blocked energy work. Because that place where it's tension, that place is not leaning on the floor or on the earth as the other body parts that are releasing. It's like it's holding on, it's trying to hold itself up, it's trying to be contracted, it's trying to kind of be in control, not trusting the support that's around so that it can lean on all the things that's around, and especially the floor that you're lying on in the lying down meditative pose. And any place that we hold a contraction, we're holding some kind of energy from an experience in our life where there was a lack of trust to what we were experiencing. Because it was energy, some kind of experience coming towards us as energy, and we held a resistance to what was coming towards us. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to experience that. It hurts, it's painful, I'm scared, whatever. And we contract because we don't want to experience it. But when we realize that everything that comes towards us in this existence is for us, not against us, then we can learn to soften eventually and allow this experience to move through us. But it takes a little bit of practice, and it takes a little bit of unwinding from all the times we have contracted and held resistance against experience coming towards us. And all of this you can observe just by lying down on the floor, meditating with your body. Because where you're noticing the tension, where you're holding, where there's some kind of pressure, where there's more even uncomfortable, or it's just like loud in some way, more sensations, that place is contracting, it's not releasing to the ground. So it's not trusting. And it's not trusting from a moment in time where you experience some kind of energy that you were not allowing to flow through. You were not able to trust what you were experiencing. So you contracted instead, and the energy got stuck, and it's held there in your system, in your tissue. And with the notion that you're lying on the earth, there's a whole mother underneath you. Ginormous, loving, endlessly loving, holding, supporting mother that you're lying on. You can actually begin to release that body part that did not trust to the ground. And you can actually begin to feel the energy there start to move. And when energy starts to move, it has a pattern of where it wants to flow. And your only job is to continue to melt so that you will allow the energy to flow where it wants to flow. Sometimes there's more connected holding patterns, so it starts to unwind and it starts to flow to the next point where there's some kind of epicenter of tension. And you will find that the body, the intelligence of the body, knows how to do this. You only need to breathe and allow the breath also to be organic. Like, I come from this more controlling yoga practice, for instance, where you have the ujjayi breath, or you have different breathing patterns and techniques, and there's a control of one way of breathing, and that's brilliant for some things. But when you want to allow this intelligence of the body and this organic de-windling and reorganization back to yourself and back to alignment in the physical sense, centered around your spine and the central channel in the front of your spine, and all the energy channels surrendered, connected to that, but also way beyond the physical sense. Like in all the sense, finding your way back to alignment as you release all the things that you hold, where you held resistance to experience that was coming towards you as a part of your soul's evolution here this time around. So every energy that you held in your tissue, every energy that you held a resistance to, that is still there stuck in your body, when you start to release that and this energy is allowed to flow, maybe memories come up, maybe you can dive into the emotion that is there, go beyond the physical, start to really open and see what this is connected to. You don't always need that, but this energy will start to resolve and start to give you the lesson, the experience that was supposed to be had through this thing that you were resisting. And sometimes you open then towards new experiences of the similar sort that starts to come towards you, so that you can really meet this energy now that you've learned to feel it. And you can have this experience that is expansive instead of contracting. Because energy that comes towards you as experience, it's really meant to be felt, so that you can extract the knowledge that you were supposed to have from it. And when you're afraid to feel, you contract, you hold a resistance. Being afraid to feel is just holding resistance to energy that comes towards you, not allowing energy to flow through you and be expressed the way it's supposed to be expressed. I think this will be part 1 of how I became Hollyflow.